What's going on, guys? I'm back. It's been a little while, but I saw Captain Marvel last night, so I thought why not do my first ever movie review. It might be the worst movie review ever. I'm not talking about the movie, I'm just talking about the way I do these things. So let's do this. Hey Simon, what'd you think of Captain Marvel? I'm just joking. So I've got this little problem. Hasn't happened for a while, but I went through this massive phase where for some reason every time I would go to the movies I would just fall asleep. I literally went through this, I reckon, 5 movies in a row. I can probably still remember them. I remember it was like Wall-E, Tropic Thunder, The Dark Knight, Inception was one of them. I literally went to all these movies in a row, and every movie I just be like just falling asleep. Not because I wanted to, but literally my body would just like shut down, I think, because like I don't get enough sleep or something like that. So, while watching Captain Marvel, literally, I don't know, 15 minutes in, I started being like, oh no, don't do this to me now, I need to do a review on this movie. And I was like battling to stay awake this whole time. It might have had something to do with the fact that cinemas these days have these like reclining chairs where you can just recline back and get all comfy and stuff like that. And it's like, what kind of world are we living in where we can do this stuff? But literally, 2/3 of the way through the movie, I'm just like, man, I'm really struggling here. So I sort of put my legs back down and just sat down normally, and all of a sudden I'm back. And all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm awake, totally awake. And I watched the last chunk of the movie with no issues. But unfortunately, a big chunk of the movie had already passed. So it wasn't that I didn't know what was going on. I didn't actually fall asleep in the movie. It was just that I was sort of battling to keep my eyes open. They were really tiring me out. So before seeing this movie, what did I know about Captain Marvel? Not a lot. All I really know was what I'd read in her recent miniseries. She had this recent miniseries called Life of Captain Marvel. It was a 5-issue, I think, miniseries. I've actually only read the first 2. I thought I'd read 3 actually, but I went through my red box before and I've only read the first 2 issues. And all I really could gather from this is she is from Earth, and all I really remember is I think she had a bit of a fiery temper. So yeah, that's all I really remember. And also that Carol Danvers, banging. Now, from what I remember of the movie is, look, it was a fun ride. I loved all the 90s references because obviously, I mean, I grew up in my teen years, obviously, I shouldn't really give away my age. Anyway, I remember the 90s, so I loved all the 90s references. They had a great 90s soundtrack. Off the top of my head, I think there was some garbage in there, had some No Doubt. Hey, I love Gwen Stefani, that's just a secret, alright? This is not a spoiler, by the way, but obviously in the trailer there was she comes crashing down to Earth and lands in a Blockbuster Video, which is also a big 90s reference to video shops. Obviously I like a joke now. Interesting fact, I actually found out today, I used to work at Blockbuster, and one of my old work colleagues, shout out to Suze, she sent me a little message saying about an article that was there's only one Blockbuster left on Earth. That is crazy. I actually thought they were gone, but there's apparently one left. There's actually 2 left, but the second last Blockbuster on Earth is actually in Australia, and is closing down on March 31st, which is obviously pretty soon, and that happens to be my birthday. So yeah, don't worry, you don't have to get me anything for my birthday, but how about hit the sub button, eh? So yeah, there was a lot of great 90s references in the film that made me laugh. You get a bit nostalgic, obviously, with that sort of stuff. There was some great tie-ins and lead-ins to sort of future events, because obviously this movie is sort of set in the past. I'm not going to obviously give away too much stuff or any stuff really in this movie, because obviously it's still very fresh. I love the relationship between Nick Fury and the cat in the movie, Goose. The cat Goose turns out to be fucking celebrity in its own, but it's funny because Nick Fury, from memory, in the Avenger films and all that sort of, in the Marvel films, he's very straightforward sort of characters, rocks up, just tells you the information you sort of need to know. In Captain Marvel, he's very much human, as in like he's just very he's very much a character in this movie, because this is where it all sort of began for him. There's actually quite a funny thing that leads on to something. They explain something about Nick Fury. I won't say what it is, but I'll just say it's got something to do with him and Goose. It's quite hilarious, but I love watching that relationship in the movie. I am a big fan of Pussy. I'm a massive cat person. I love cats, so it was a big deal for me to sort of see that. I was excited because I heard that the cat was a big deal about this movie. I do have a cat of my own. She's just sleeping down there. I would probably get more views if I just had my cat in all my videos, eh? Now, obviously, if you are a fan of Marvel and you know a bit about Captain Marvel and things like that, you probably know about the Krees and the Skrulls. I know nothing about that shit. I had my mates trying to explain Krees and Skrulls to me a long time ago, and I was like, whoa, I don't know what you're talking about. Right? It was just too much information for me. Now, the movie does put a lot of twists on, I guess, the traditional Captain Marvel backstory or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to obviously give it away, but there's definitely, I think, apparently from what I know now, there is a big twist on the Krees and the Skrulls story. Another thing that's a big twist is, obviously, when I first heard about Captain Marvel was obviously when this film was coming. In fact, at the end of the Avengers film, spoiler, but you should have seen that shit by now, in the credits where Nick Fury drops the pager, my mate was saying to me, did you know what that pager thing meant at the end? I was like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. He's like, Captain Marvel. So when I sort of looked up Captain Marvel comics and things like that, the first thing I saw was like, wait a second, Captain Marvel's a dude. What the hell? Turns out, obviously, the original Captain Marvel apparently was Captain Marvel. Really? So yeah, they put a bit of a twist on the Captain Marvel character. In the trailer, I originally thought that Jude Law would be that character, but it turns out he's not. The character is in the movie. I don't know if that's a big spoiler or not, but obviously there is something, there's a bit of a twist on the traditional Marvel character. Now, before I saw this movie, I saw a whole bunch of stuff online with people just hating on this movie, like, fucking Captain Marvel, the original Captain Marvel is Shazam, Team DC. And like, look, I get that, I'm Team DC, but shut the fuck up, DC movies suck. Hey, like I said, I'm Team DC, but look, there's nothing wrong with Marvel. Marvel has some very cool stuff too, and literally, like, I enjoy some of those DC films, but really, I cannot honestly recommend them to someone and say, oh, that's a great movie. Marvel, on the other hand, I mean, some of those movies are absolutely fantastic. So look, all in all, like, I really did actually enjoy this movie. Look, I didn't fall asleep, like I said. I was just really tired, so it was hard for me to concentrate, but it was a fun ride overall. I guess I kind of kept sort of trying to compare it to Wonder Woman, because Wonder Woman, when it came out, was a big deal, you know, girl power. Look, I'm all for that, girls kicking ass and stuff like that. If I had to compare Captain Marvel to Wonder Woman, I mean, Captain Marvel was just a much more fun sort of movie. Wonder Woman was great at its time, like, it was one of the better DC films. Aquaman, I reckon, is probably better. But yeah, if I had to compare Captain Marvel to Wonder Woman, I probably enjoyed Captain Marvel more. It was just a much more fun sort of movie. Now, like all Marvel movies, obviously you have to stick around in the credits, right, to see what's going to lead into the next film. Obviously there is a lead in to the next Avengers film, which I'm very excited for. Like, obviously I'm very new to the comic book world, so I've literally been in comics since, I don't know, May last year, April, May last year, I reckon probably May. Just in my first year, so I didn't watch all the Marvel movies, you know, before. I'd seen a few. Obviously, I'd seen the Iron Mans. I was a big fan of the Thor movies, but I really didn't go out of my way. I wasn't excited about Marvel movies. I just would watch them if I happened to watch them. So when I got into comic books, my friends were like, you gotta watch all these movies. And look, man, I'm not a busy guy, but I don't have time to do this shit. I don't have time to sit there and watch 20 movies. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'll just watch the ones that I think are important, because I think I ended up seeing Ant-Man or something like that, and then I realized, oh look, I'm going to go back and watch some of them to make sense of all of this. So yeah, Avengers Infinity War was absolutely amazing movie. I absolutely loved it, but there were just some films, like I had to watch Guardians of the Galaxy apparently to get that, so I was like, okay, I'll watch that, but there were just some films that I'm not going to bother watching. I'm probably never going to watch the first Captain America, because I don't really care about Captain America that much. I probably will never watch the Black Panther movie. Hey, one thing about the Black Panther movie, hey, look, don't get me wrong, I'm all for, you know, pride and stuff like that, but obviously it was a big deal to the African American community when it was released, but I was just like offended by that shit, man, like to the point where Michelle Obama is tweeting or whatever, like, oh, I'm so glad that I could bring my kids to a movie where the superheroes look like them and talk like them and blah 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 blah. Like, that's great. I'm all about, obviously, pride and, you know, your heritage or your background, whatever it is. But hey, when she was saying, oh, I'm so glad there's finally a movie where there's black superheroes, I'm just like, excuse me, what about this guy, Blade? Huh? How do you think Wesley Snipes feels? I know Wesley Snipes hasn't been the best, you know, citizen, but hey, you cannot deny that Blade was fucking rockin'. And what about my Asian superhero? Where's my Asian superhero? Bruce Lee's your Asian superhero. Bruce Lee was a fucking person, you idiot. I want an Asian superhero. Where's that, huh? Where's my yellow fucking panda, huh? Do you see me complaining? I'm complaining right now, aren't I? Anyway, I'm going off topic. That's going to be it for my film review. Hope you thought it was funny. Look, I do recommend Captain Marvel. It was a good movie. I did enjoy it. I probably will watch it again eventually one day. I don't like rewatching films these days. I mean, like I said, I've got a short attention span. I'm getting old. I don't have time to spend hours watching shit all the time. But look, I may actually revisit Captain Marvel one day, I believe, and rewatch it so I can try to make sense of this shit. So I'm going to end this video. I thought of a great idea. So my next video, I think I'm going to talk about my little rant I just had then about Yellow Panda. I've been telling that story, by the way, for a long time to my friends. It's where's my yellow panda, Black Panther, yellow panda. You get it? Huh? Funny? No, whatever. Next video, I'm going to try to do a video about Asian superheroes. Do they exist? They do, because of course I went and checked that shit out. So we're going to talk about that in my next episode. Till then, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, all that usual shit. See you next time.